concert tickets by the million, and of course there's a good Derry woman in the thick of it. The Celtic Woman Tour is in Belfast later this month with our own Mairead Carlin among the all-female ensemble. Mairead is back home for a couple of days, and in case you need reminding of the talent, here's what happened when she was asked to record the anthem for Ireland at the Rugby World Cup.
By a lonely prison wall, I heard a young girl calling. Michael, they are taking you away, for you stole rebellion's gone, so the young might see them all. Now a prison ship lies waiting in the bay. Lie the fields of Athenry, where once we watched the small free birds fly. Our love was on the wing. We had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely around the fields of Athenry. By a lonely prison wall, I heard a young man calling. Nothing matters, Mary, when you're free. Against the famine and the crown, I rebelled, they ran me down. Now you must raise our child with dignity. Lie the fields of Athenry, where once we watched the small free birds fly. Our love was on the wing. We had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely around the fields of Athenry. By a lonely harbour wall, she watched the last star falling, as that prison ship sailed out against the sky. Sure, she'll wait and hope and pray for her love in Botany Bay. It's so lonely round the fields of Athenry. Lie the fields of Athenry, where once we watched the small free birds fly. Our love was on the wing. We had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely round the fields of Athenry.
I remember that when the Rugby World Cup was coming around, and everybody's going, there's Mairead Carlin, she's doing the Irish one. Well, never mind that. Since then she's been singing for presidents and oh, for goodness sake, rubbing shoulders with some of the most famous people on the planet. As I say, 10 million sales and Billboard topping and all the rest across the States. Not a bad feat for a girl who only a couple of years ago was singing through the City Derry choir structure and cadet and all the rest. Mairead Carlin's home. Good afternoon to you.
Hello.
It's lovely to see you again. How are you keeping?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good. Did you have a wee rest? I know you're home to see your mummy and daddy and all, and
Yeah.
globetrotting ceases for a week or two, Mairead, eh?
Just about, yeah. We got back on Christmas Eve. So flew into Dublin on Christmas Eve, and my lovely sister Anya and her husband Jason came down and picked me up from the airport. So yeah, I'm back to Porridge now.
What's it like these days getting home to Derry? What's that all about for you?
It's very special. I moved away when I was 18, went to London, studied classical singing over there at Trinity College of Music. But it was only really when the City of Culture year came around that I spent some proper quality time here, because I was studying for 4 years, so I was kind of away quite a lot and just came back at, holiday times really to see my family. But I spent some real quality time here, and it's just so lovely to see Derry grow, and there's so many creative people here. There's lots of really cool stuff going on here, and it's just really nice to come home and see. Most of my best friends are still here as well, so yeah, it's very special.
Right, as far as I understand, you got that prestigious place in the Conservatoire. Young singers across the world would give their eye teeth for it. You did so well, they offered you the postgrad, and then that left you with a really difficult decision. Do I stay on here, or do I leave? Do I go with Decca? Do I go around, do I take my talent out commercially? Take us back to that period.
Yeah, gosh, I haven't thought about that in a really long time. It's funny that you say that. I always knew I wanted to sing. I just didn't know what kind of singing that I wanted to do. I always loved folk music. It always inspired me. I loved the 70s and the 60s, like Fairport Convention and Sandy Denny and Richard Thompson and all that kind of stuff. But I thought, maybe if I'm going to make a career of this, I might have to go into musical theatre. And so I applied for the Royal Academy of Music, and I got offered a scholarship to study there and do my postgrad. Meanwhile, got the offer from Decca Records, Universal, to a 6-album deal with
which
them.
Which is a big thing.
Which is a really big thing. But, the music industry is a funny old place, and I thought, do I take this into my own hands, or do I go down that recording route? And, where we all know that the recording industry is a very fragile place at the moment. So I had a very strong head on my shoulders, and I decided that I would make the album just because I love recording music.
But was that an unfair proposition on reflection for a 19-year-old to face? They want 6 albums. I mean, that's a lifetime's output for many, many artists. And in a sense, did they want to own you too young? Or how do you reflect on that now?
They never made me feel like that. In fact, I actually think they were wonderful. They always made me feel like I could be me, which is one of the reasons why I decided to accept the deal anyway. They understood that I had this side of me that really wanted to explore even like country music, Americana music. So even on that album there are reflections of that, Alison Krauss kind of style things with lots of bouzouki and ukuleles and stuff, So they never made me feel like they wanted to put me in a box. They always kind of wanted me to express myself in the way that I wanted to express myself.
But that's difficult in a way, because in a sense, when you can put your toe into one of 4 or 5 waters, I mean, so you're getting the classical training in the Conservatoire, musical theatre, they're sort of saying, hey Mairead, you could probably go to the West End. You're saying that the folksy Americana stuff was an option, and then the Celtic Woman thing and that kind of ensemble thing, which is a totally different kind as well. It must be difficult when there seems to be a green traffic light at the junction, which is going 4 different ways. So what do you do when you've got those 4 brilliant options? You
go and you talk to the most amazing woman on the planet, and that woman was my head of faculty at Trinity. She is incredible. She's actually a contemporary singer for the Royal Opera House, but she's done loads of stuff like the Swingle Singers, and so she's kind of dipped her toe into so many different waters, and that was always my thing. I just, like I said, I always knew I wanted to be a singer. I just didn't know what kind of singer I wanted to be. And she had that too. And I was getting taught all these different techniques, and my head was, in all these different places. And I just said, dear Linda, I feel like I can't sing anymore. I've all this information, but I just don't know how to now put it into one thing.
Well, I guess a musical theatre voice is schooled and honed in a different way than a folk.
It is, yeah. I mean, for me now, I know my own voice, and I've put all those things together, and that is my voice. So I've kind of, that's what she said to me, basically. She just said, you know what, Mairead? Stop thinking, just sing.
When are you happiest singing?
Just whenever I'm singing. you know, I listen to so many different types of music now, and inspired by so many different types of things. But to be quite honest, it was only really when I got the Celtic Woman gig that I really felt like I came into my own. And they are amazing. They, you know, really inspire me. I always loved their music. I always listened to Celtic Woman. I was a big fan. Never in a million years did I think I'd be, you know, touring the world with them. But
it's pretty. Your Twitter feed is great because it's like, you know, you're, oh, you know, here we're getting our shoes on in San Diego or whatever, you know, down in Australia. It's pretty. Before I want to come to Celtic Woman in a wee second. Take me back though, because what the lovely thing is, you could almost take a piece of paper out of a book and go, right, here's another one. Fesh and Derry, City Derry choir structure, Donald Doherty, junior choir, senior choir, cadetta, and you're another that went through that. It's almost like a machine, isn't it?
Donald Doherty is one of the most amazing men I've ever met in my life, and I you know, I've said this the entire time that I've been away. There's no one like him. He is probably one of the most inspiring people that I've ever met. He has a way to instill real honesty and real beauty in everyone, and he brings out the best performer in everyone, and that's what I've seen in him, you know. And he was very good to me and nurtured me in a way, you know.
But you were so shy, Mairead, in that sense, and I suppose you've had to find that confidence now as a young woman in your own right, because anytime I used to see Cadetta, it was like you were the one that was almost like, not that you weren't willing to go forward, but you were so modest about it, and you were surrounded by such a lovely, it was almost like a big family of folk. And a very different game these days, I suppose. But I'm sure your memories of that time are warm, way back when you were just one of the team.
Oh, they're so warm. I surrounded myself with really good people, and I still try and do that, you know. And I really feel that about Codetta, and I feel that about that time in my life as well. You know, I have so many amazing memories of that. Just singing music with my best friends as well, you know, like my best friend Elaine is a singer, and you know, we all grew up doing that together, so yeah. Best Boy Grip, of course, in the thick of it. Who was to know back then that so many of you would go on and do your thing. Every Christmas as a team we always have a panic and a couple of weeks run up again, where's the two? And Mairead, I'm not just saying it because you're sitting there, but we get more feedback about two. There's the Mary Dillon track with St Cecilia's, and Barry, hit it. We always get serious interest for this one. The title track from A Child of the Snow. Do you remember doing it? I do. I have very vivid memories of doing that, actually. I think I learned that little piece about 10 minutes before we actually recorded it. I remember Donald just kind of handed me the lyrics and was like, okay, here's the tune, sing that. But even my untrained ear can hear the difference, even the folksiness of the Field of Athenry, which is a later recording, and back then when it was so, I can hear the classical form of what you were doing as a kid. Yeah, definitely a different placement there. In kind of technical terms, I can hear in myself got a much lower larynx in The Child of the Snow, whereas the other one's kind of, it's much more natural, maybe. I don't know. It's amazing every time we do it, and I have to say, it puts the hair up on the back of my neck, because it's just it's such a lovely homespun thing. It's sung locally, recorded locally. You were an emerging talent. Ronan had written it locally, a teacher in a local primary school. It was like, you know, that sense of, you know, we can do this. You know, of course we can. But I think that's a real Derry thing, you know, that sense of, come on, right, let's do this, we can do that, you know. And that's what I love about being from Derry, is everybody has that in them. Yeah. Listen,
Celtic woman, was it a hard decision? Be honest with me.
No.
Not for a second.
No,
Because
not at all.
I'll tell you what I remember. You were doing stuff and people were saying she's the star. She's taken London by storm. You were singing for network BBC things, children's animations and all sorts of stuff. You've got film commissions you've done. And a lot of people said, you know what, Mairead, away you go. Get in the jet and away you go to, and make your millions. And yet this is a collective. It's an ensemble. And that's very different.
You know what, though? I am a big fan of Joni Mitchell. I'm a big fan of Peter, Paul and Mary. And for me, the idea of a collective is so much more important than being a star or being a solo artist. And I think that's what I learned when I was doing the Decca thing was maybe I want to be a part of other people, and making music is about much more than about being a star. It's about making music and doing it for yourself and doing it for other people.
I mean, people say it's very modest, but are you seriously telling me that you would prefer to do that as opposed to tonight in the Albert Hall, Mairead Carlin and the London Symphony Orchestra, your band?
Who wouldn't love to do that? But for me, I first of all, I love the girls that I'm performing with, and I think that's fundamental to why I'm doing it. Susan, Lisa, Lynn, Mairead, they're all incredible musicians, and I really respect them and I really looked up to them. So if they weren't doing it, maybe it would be a different situation. But I just feel incredibly blessed, and it's not very often that you get the opportunity to join something that is so distinguished. The group's been going 10 years and they're incredibly successful.
Well, tell people about that. I know you're so modest, but I mean, I've said there's been 10 million sales, you've topped the Billboard charts, you've sold 3 million tickets to live shows, and on it goes. Tell us a little bit more, because most people listening to this will not have seen it. I've been looking up because I went out to see the Lads version, the Celtic Thunder version, featuring Keith, of course, another local Derry man, and it's remarkable. What are your thoughts on it? How would you describe it? When I joined,
our producer Maggie turned to me and she just said, you really don't quite get the full grasp of it yet, do you? And I hadn't until we got to America, and it's pretty insane. We were on tour for 4 months straight in America, pretty much every night in a different city. 1 minute Denver, the next minute New York. It's full on. We have incredible fans out there. It's very, very successful.
How do you deal with the Irish American thing? Because I saw that as well, and I sometimes I imagine if I was in the thick of it, it would cook my brain. We love you Irish, and it's like I know the Americans are all heart and all soul, and you wouldn't criticise that for 1 second, but it's a certain kind of Irishness they expect, and it's not a kind of Irishness that I even recognise. Nobody like that back here is like that, and yet they love the big show, don't they?
They do love the big show. I guess people, it's a lot of people moved away to America, as we know, and a lot of people have ancestors there. And I guess it's for them, it's their idea of Ireland, what it is to be Irish, and it's our job to give that to them. There's so many traditional songs in there. There's just lots of Irishness in the show, and they love that, yeah. And it's great. It's good fun.
Have you made £1 million yet?
Oh, a lady never reveals her secrets.
I know, but I mean, hopefully there's a few bob in your back pocket. It's
trying.
Yeah.
Making ends meet anyway.
Yeah. Listen, you've kindly agreed to sing for us today, and it's not every singer of your calibre that I would ask to sing in the daytime, but you were saying you're okay with singing in the daytime, yeah?
Yeah. It's all good.
and folks that say, I know that Mairead, away from all this, is writing and she's playing the accordion and all the rest, so we're going to hear more of that. But you're going to just step up without instrumentation today, yeah?
Yeah, sure. A wee unaccompanied song.
What have you got?
It's a song called My Lag in Love,
my goodness.
which is, one of my favourite songs of all time.
That Sinead O'Connor recording is remarkable as well.
Yeah, it's one of my favourites, yeah.
But it's a big one. Mairead, step up to the microphone
Hopefully I do
there.
it justice.
Well, folks, I tell you what, at home and abroad, my Twitter feed, never mind hers, went mad last night when we were saying that Mairead was on her way in to sing for us today. We're delighted she's home to see her mummy and daddy and to get a proper feed of spuds. We tune up there on the Radio Foil piano live in studio. Miss Mairead Carlin.
Where Lagan Stream sings lullaby, there blows a lily fair, the twilight is in her eye. The night is on her hair, and like a lovesick Lennon she has my heart in thrall, nor life I own, no liberty, for love is Lord of all. And sometimes when the beetle's thorn hath lulled the eve to sleep, I steal unto her shielding thorn, and through the adoring peep, there on the cricket singing stone, she has the barred wood fire and hums inside sweet undertone, for love is Lord of all, for love is Lord of all.
There's days sitting in here, I have to say I feel very, very lucky, and the team clapping away behind the glass. Mairead, grab a wee seat. Sinead can take a seat. Never mind that.
I wish.
That is so hard to do, because you're chatting away, chat, and then you have to get the breathing in for that. You didn't miss it. Tell me the mechanics of what you just done. I mean, I know I don't want to sort of make it all sort of scientific and stuff, but there's a process to doing what you've just done, isn't there?
I guess there is, yeah. I think for me, you know, I actually was watching an interview with Sinead O'Connor yesterday, and she said she was talking about the Grammys and about winning awards for being a great singer, and for her, you know, I can't even remember who she said it was that won the Grammy, and she couldn't understand why they won the Grammy for being it was Bob Dylan, wasn't it? and she was like, why has he won an award for being a great singer? Well, you know, he's a great artist, and he sings from the soul, and he sings honestly. And for me, that's what singing's about. It's not about how controlled my voice is or whatever. It's if I can tell a story through the words, you know. So that's my process anyway. I don't really think anymore about the technical side of things, because that for me is when I get muddled.
You see, I can't hear all that sort of corporate stuff that you're required to represent. I would just love to think that you can still find places in life where you can sit down for an old Camallie with old boys and, you know, fellas playing three chords in a wee pub and stuff. Do you ever find time for that kind of grounding in your life these days, Mairead?
That is the most important thing for me now. Wherever I am, I'm quite a spiritual person, and I, you know, light candle. I find room. I light candles. I, you know, stick on like Fairport Convention, and I try and inspire myself in that way. And I try and, I mean, the guys that are on the road with us as well, you know, Ray and Owen O'Neill, you know, they all come from amazing backgrounds, you know, Chris Rea and the Horslips and all that kind of thing. So whenever I can, get a good old sing-song with them, and they're the kind of people that you want to surround yourself with,
But
you know.
I've also seen a wee bit of that over in the States when you see the cut and thrust of having to get up at 4 a.m. to get on the bus, and to, you know, your pyjamas are soaking because you've had to walk through the rain to get to the burger joint to get something to blooming eat, and then you've got 7 nights of that in a bus, living cheek by jowl with people that you have to see and work with every day of your life. Does that not change your view on the journey?
I think it just makes you a more centered, humble person. And like I said, you know, it would be completely different if we didn't get on. But, you know, these girls really are my family, and they've been very good to me. And from the word go, they've really been there for me. And I guess it does change your view on what the journey is, but it's just part of the journey.
But you don't want to do that all your life, do you? Humbling, you know, trooping around on interstates in the States on a bus.
I have no idea where I'll be. I honestly don't. There's so many things I want to do. You know, I'm writing. I'm doing so many different things for myself. Who knows?
But surely part of you is thinking, right, I'm putting in these hard miles. Next up it needs to be Miss Carlin is ready for her grape juice now, and she will have her suite on the top floor, thank you. Miss Carlin insists, that kind of stuff. Other people doing it and you sitting up and lapping it up.
Oh, darling, where's my grape juice? Can you ever imagine me saying that?
Maybe.
No.
I don't know. No.
Do you know what? I'm the kind of person that's like saying to other people, "Do you want a cup of tea?" I'm always the one that looks after other people. I never really take time for myself. Maybe I should do that a wee bit more.
But you must. You see, this is the contrary thing, and I never get it from you, Mairead. But you must be aware of ambition, because everybody's knocking your door, telling you what singers want to hear, and, you know, anti-brilliant. You never say anti-brilliant, but others are telling you it all the time. So you must be conscious that you have that talent to go to a global stage, and you must be dealing in your own head with ambition and going, how far can I blooming take this?
I mean, I think it's a good thing to have ambition. I think, you know, you should have goals. I think it's a lot of pressure when people say, you know, oh, you're this or you're that, when you don't have that idea of yourself. But you kind of just have to roll with it. And like I said, like Linda Hurst said to me, just sing. But you must be aware,
and sorry for interrupting, but when BBC Network producers call you, and when orchestras call you, and when presidents call you, and the Six Nations calls you, and when then Celtic Thunder, you get the gig there, you must be doing something right here.
I must be doing something right.
Right, but that's one way of accepting. But the other side would be, I'm on a runner here. I'm on a winner.
Yeah, but that rug can be pulled from under you very quickly, which I've experienced too. You know, I mean, nothing's forever, and you have to go through life really, you know, having that at the back of your head, not at the front. You know, obviously, if you've always got that at the front, you're never going to go anywhere. But you know, in any given day, I wake up and I count my blessings, because, you know, it could be over as quick as it began.
Well, a lovely picture of Mairead up. Being the face of the Shab, by the way. We talked earlier on this week about the new shoulder bob haircut, and there's a stunning photograph of Mairead fronting that, and some thoughts on that today, just with Mairead coming in today. If you're on Facebook and you're wanting maybe some of your heads across the world are listening to this today, we're on Facebook. Mark Patterson Show. Patricia Campbell, great. And what an artist. I could listen to her all day. Impressive indeed, says Clee. Catherine Ming from the Forum says she's come a long way since her pantomime days as Snow White in the Forum. Catherine, of course, works there a couple of years ago. Great to see her doing so well. We always knew she would. She is a lovely girl.
That's really sweet. Thank you.
So, Mairead, I appreciate you coming in. If I'm talking to you in a couple of years' time and you've done what you want to do and you've achieved what you want to achieve, what'll that look like? And don't just say another 4,000 miles of Celtic Woman. Or maybe it is.
No, I mean, you know, maybe do another album. I'm writing at the moment, you know, doing my own thing and trying to build myself as an artist and as a person. And, you know, so maybe I'll have an album out there and kind of show people quite a personal side of myself. Because at the moment, you know, with the Celtic Woman thing, singing other people's songs, and I kind of want people to hear my own voice. And
so will you have to start again then in the record industry from there, because you left Decca Universal, didn't you? So you'll have to come back then and get a fresh deal.
I don't know if I want a deal. I think I'd go down the independent route, to be honest. I think there's a lot to be said for that.
But it's tough for those labels to bring in the orchestras and stuff. Surely your voice is a voice that cries out for a orchestra and for big bucks production.
I think independent labels are really coming up, you know, and they've got ways and means of making things sound incredibly expensive without much money at all, because they've had to be very savvy about, you know. I think the age of the big label is probably coming to a close, and I think that there's a massive churn going on, carousel, and I'm happy to be a part of that and support local artists, support local people, creatives.
Have you time to keep across that way? Some great stuff happening back home here. I'm sure, you know, we Brady Mons, we Soap, Ports, Best Boy, Woodburn and Savages. These guys are all doing rightly. And in a way, I sometimes feel for you guys in the musical theatre-y kind of thing, because some nights there must be nights you'd love to just get up there and rattle an old Telecaster with a distortion pedal.
If only I could play. My dad used to collect like old Vox amps and Wem copycats and Fenders and all that, and I can't play a note of guitar or bass. Yeah. Which is,
But you know, the freedom that they have to go up and be, you know, rockers, bandies, you know what I mean? In a way, you're constricted a little more because your frocks have to be perfect and your orchestra has to be in tune, all that kind of stuff. Do you envy their freedom sometimes, their scruffiness?
Sometimes. I think I'm a bit I'm a bit of a rock and roller and when I'm off stage, you know, like I love rock music and I love going to gigs and getting stuck into the mosh pit. You know, so
Mairead, I could talk to you all day. You're a credit to your family, honestly, and we're so thrilled for you. You've no need to come in here to Radio Foyle today, but we just so appreciate you doing so for a little while and coming home. Mark. It's lovely to have you here. Cheers. Thanks indeed. Mairead Carlin is home just for a wee while. It's your mummy and daddy. And by the way, the big gig, I should have talked about the gig, give the gig a plug. The gig is there's only 3 gigs, Mairead, isn't there, in the Irish tour, isn't that right?
There's
Celtic Woman, 25th of January, Odyssey Arena. No pressure there.
No pressure. Coming home. Oh gosh. But I mean, gee, who gets to perform in the Odyssey Arena? It's
you do.
Phenomenal.
And it's Dublin, Belfast, and that's it pretty much.
Dublin, Belfast, and that's it. Yeah. So we're doing the 3 Arena in Dublin on the 24th of January, and then the Odyssey on the 25th. My mum and dad can finally come and see us in Northern Ireland. We're brilliant.
That's nice. Great. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Well, what an absolute treat. One of the loveliest live